Okay.
Thanks, Green. Yes.
Thank you, Admiral. I forgot to thank him.
Yesterday, you were asked a couple of times about the rationale for the president's decision to tune in. One thing the president did not say was explicitly why he stepped aside. You talked about how he believed it was in the best interest of the country to step aside, but why did he believe he was going to lose to Donald Trump?
Look, I think that the president actually answered this question.
did.
I think, wait, no. I think the American people think he answered the question. He said, I revere this office, but I love my country more. He said, I draw strength and I enjoy in working for the American people, but this sacred task of perfecting our union is not about me. It's about you, our families, your futures. And I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation. He talked about unity. He talked about passing the torch. I know there is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life, but there's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices, and that time and place is now. That is what he said. That is why he laid out why he's passing the torch, why it's time to give it over to new, fresh voices. And he also talked about unity. And I would also refer back to his letter where he talked about also wanting to unify his party.
Did the president believe that his presence in that race was divisive?
I'm not going to get into more than what the president laid out. He talked about unity. He talked about bringing the party together. He talked about putting the country first. He talked about passing over the torch, bringing in new voices. I think he laid out very clearly why he decided to make this decision. And I believe the American people got it. They understood it.
If it was clear, I wouldn't be asked the question, but I'll move on.
I think it's clear.
Okay.
I do. I think the American people do.
For several weeks, the White House has said, had said multiple times that the president was not going to leave the race. He ultimately did. You've also said several times that the president would not pardon or commute the sentences for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a
It
no.
will always be a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
Thank you, Train. So picking up on Zeke,
Yeah, sure.
for such a monumental decision, the president did address why he left the race.
Well, thank you.
But he left a lot of it for us to read between the lines. He did not make clear why he's leaving the race. Even in the excerpts that you bring up,
Yep.
he says that, the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. Is he saying it's because he was too old? In another one, he said that it was for the sake of democracy. That does not answer why he thought he was in the way of democracy. So why did he make this decision?
A new generation, and he also said the next sentence was to unite, is also to unite the nation. Look, the president has talked about this twice. One in a letter that he addressed to the American people on Sunday, laying out a very monumental, to your point, it is a monumental decision that he made, and he thought very long and hard. He also said that he's been serving this country as a public servant for more than 50 years. It is not an easy decision to make. He talked about unity. He talked about the next generation. He talked about passing the torch. I was asked in this room a couple of days, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, all of these days are coming together, that when the president ran in 2020, he talked about passing the torch. He talked about the next generation. He talked about being a bridge to the next generation. And I was asked, is that something that the president still wants to do and still cares about? And I said yes. And so this is part of that, right? This is part of what he said in 2020. He talked about unifying the nation. He talked about unifying the party. And he believed the time was now. The time was now to step down from his reelection and to move, ahead with the next 6 months, the end of his term. And that's what he decided to do.
Before he made the decision, he said that there were 3 things that could sway him: the Lord Almighty, a medical condition, and if his team showed him that he could not win. So was it because of the polling?
I can tell you it was not a medical decision, because I've been asked before, and we answer that very straightforward and in a very direct way. I'm just not going to get beyond that.
And then finally, President Biden spent much of his speech talking about the choice that Americans face in November. Trump's campaign manager called it a campaign speech. Your response?
My response is it's not a campaign speech. I will remind my friends on the other side that the president is no longer a candidate.